SprintCarUnlimited.com at the Eastern Motorsports Press Association in King of Prussia. I'm Jeremy Elliott. I'm here with Mike Mallett of Dirt Track Digest. Always a pleasure to have you doing a video, Mike.
Yeah, they're fun, I guess.
You don't like he likes reading instead of video.
Yeah, we joke about that.
But this is actually going to be the first video on our YouTube page for SprintCarUnlimited.com, so this will be free to the public. We're going to talk about the All-Star Circuit of Champions a little bit. This year with a new title sponsor, Ollie's Bargain Outlet. You know, Mike, there was a point in the offseason where I thought the All-Stars were in trouble. And all of a sudden, I think this could be their best year in years, or one of their best seasons in years, because of not just a title sponsor. They kind of help themselves there, but the driver lineup they have.
You know, you look the last couple of years. I mean, I think it's been heading and trending that way. You know, it used to be the not the bash, but that was the afterthought series per se. You know, to say it that way. When they would come to New York, everybody like, well, who runs the All Stars? Who's this? You know, they had Blaney and you had Kemmenall, and that was the guy, and Tim Schafer. Those were the guys everybody knew. That was it. What I find interesting now, we haven't really like. It seems to be the younger guys are going in that route, kind of get their feet wet. I mean, you look at last season with Aaron Reitzel, a guy, has been very talented in a 360, showed flashes of that same talent in the 410, but never really had that opportunity. And look, 1 year in, and he's an all-star champion.
Not only that, I thought last year was a good year for the All-Stars. You had Aaron Reitzel, you had Chad Kemmenall, you had Carson Macedo, and Paul McMahon, and it was a close battle for the championship. So now this year, we think could be. They're losing Aaron Reitzel. At least they were going to. Carson Macedo goes to the Outlaws. We think they're in trouble. Chad Kemmenall and the Hunter team part ways. Hunter gets out of racing. Then all of a sudden, we start getting the announcements. Corey Eliason taking the Rudin car with the All-Stars, which I think is a huge get for them. And then Brock Zierfoss with Pete Grove. Spencer Baston with Pete Grove. Okay, now we got 3. Then Aaron Reitzel decides to come back around, and he's going to run All-Stars for a second year in a row. And we have Paul McMahon as well. And then I think we're going to have Dale Blaney running the All-Stars again. I think they have a pretty stout lineup. I think this could be a great year for them.
What I like is, the names you mentioned, Spencer Baston and Brock Zierfoss, the young gun, the younger generation, that next generation of sprint car driver. And I think that's what makes it exciting. I mean, those guys drive a little different style, if you will. They're hammers on the cushion, et cetera, and that's an exciting style of racing that you want to go watch. And we've seen Corey Eliason have some success. He ran the Outlaw about 3/4 of the tour last year, up about Knoxville. So he's got the pedigree to be competitive. And again, the Reitzel. But then again, like you mentioned, having Blaney back, that'll be huge. Dale has done it all with the All Stars, obviously, and having him back is a huge get for them. And be interesting to see how a guy how Brock Zierfoss will do. A few years ago, Ryan Smith kind of took that jump, and he went out on the road, and he did really well with the All-Stars. So be interested to see how he factors in and what he can do in his first opportunity on the road.
I agree. I'm really I still think Aaron Reitzel's the guy to beat. I mean, I think Aaron Reitzel's one of the top probably 7 teams in the country, depending on the night. Obviously finishing in the top 5 at the Knoxville Nationals last year, beating the World of Outlaws at Tulare in California. 9 All-Star wins the title. Don't sleep on Paul McMahon. I think Paul McMahon had a great year last year in the Tom Book entry. I think he's going to be a factor. Zierfoss and Baston, young guys, same team. Don't know how that's going to work out. I'm a little skeptical with the 2-car team. I'm always kind of weirded out by that. Under the same banner, they're not really team, but they're still under that Pete Grove kind of platform. So little worried about that. But, boy, I think Dale Blaney's still got it. I don't understand why it's taken him this long to get a ride. We're going to probably talk more about that in the future, what car that is, but I think he'll be back on tour. But here's the other thing. What about the guys that kind of go there part-time? Tim Schafer's still going to run a lot of races. Mm-hmm. And see, I think the All-Stars has become almost like a little bit of a commuter series, too. Guys can, because of the way their schedule is, guys can pop in there and they can – they can do what they do, race 5 races, race Speed Week, and then go away and don't necessarily run for the title. But fans don't know that. They're seeing them at the track with the All-Stars.
I do love their Speed Week. If we're talking All-Stars, I love the format of their Speed Week simply because you don't get the over and over. Like you go to a bunch of different places, bunch of different tracks. I don't know how many times you've been able to get out there and do that, but if you ever get a chance to do their speed week, it is such a good time. And I love that week because you get your fair share of a little bit of everything. You get the big tracks, you get the small tracks, you get the bull rings, you get the slick, you get the heavy, you get everything. And
and Kyle Larson wins 2 or 3 races.
Right, and Kyle Larson just comes in, kicks their butt, and whatever. But no, I think you're right with what you're talking about. Guys hopping in, hopping out. You never know who's going to show up. I mean, look last year, Joey Saldana started hopping in, hopping out here after. And
I guess that could happen this year too. You never know what he's going to do. He doesn't have a ride yet.
Right. So you never, you're not really sure who's showing up. To those races. And again, then when they come to New York, for my fans in my area where we're from, you get the local, guys that jump up, bump up, bring up the 410s, and you also get the PA guys that come up and race with them, and that adds for a nice mix and something different. And you get to see, kind of everybody on neutral turf and in a neutral place. So it's definitely exciting. And again, as we've talked, the driver lineup it continues to get better and better and better. And again, and I don't think you can call it that, that second tier series anymore. I think it's there, you know what I'm saying? It's not the Outlaws, we're not saying that, but it's coming along, and the name recognition now is there with the All-Stars. I mean, again, like we said, for a while it was Schaefer, it was Blaney, Kavanaugh, that was it.
Yeah, I don't think they want to be the Outlaws, but I agree with you. I think Corey Eliason, Zierfoss, Baston. I think you're going to have Dave Blaney pop in at times. I think you're going to have Tony Stewart popping in. I think you're going to have Casey Kane popping in. You're going to have the Pennsylvania guys. Ryan Smith, might pop in every once in a while, and Rico. I think you have so many guys that kind of make that a stop at some point on their schedule, and it just adds to their races. And with the driver lineup they have running on a regular basis, running for that title, and then the guys popping in, I think you have a really, really good series. And I think probably as not quite the Outlaws, but it's definitely gets to the point where it's a must-see, especially in Ohio.
Yeah, and for us in New York, we get a lot of the All-Stars. We don't get the Outlaws much. I think we have 1 or 2 races in my area. So the All-Stars come to town a lot, and, they're going to come to some different places for us. I know we're going to have them at Utica Rome in early July, so I'm excited. They haven't been there in 4, 5, 6 years. I can't remember. It's been a while since they were at Utica, so it'll be nice. They're coming there. They'll be at Weedsport. They'll be at Outlaw Speedway. They'll be at Lebanon Valley. So there's a lot of opportunities for fans in my area to go out and see the All-Stars. And, again, if you can, you want to get out and you want to see those because you're seeing the up-and-coming talent. There's a lot of great talent there. Again, I don't know if you can call Aaron Reitzel an up-and-comer anymore now that he won a championship.
No.
But, Eliason, Baston, those guys, Zierfoss, up-and-comers, and I think that's what makes it exciting.
Can't wait for the All-Stars this year. We wanted to break that down for you from the Eastern Motorsports Press Association. Stay tuned to SprintCarUnlimited.com YouTube page for more videos, more breakdown of races, and more interviews.